Thank you. I hope you can see my screen. I'm into our test demo EBS environment.
Yep, I can see it, Sudesh.
Okay. So today in this demo, we will see examples to demonstrate key points that should be considered under the best practice SoD for Oracle EBS. The focus will be to stress on high-level benefits of best practices that you could follow and keep your EBS system out of the SoD and compliance issues. As we all know, Oracle EBS access authorization is very complex, but the most critical aspect that controls the user access revolves around the responsibilities, menus, functions, roles. If you ask me what I would consider as the main culprit for causing SoD access, the first thing I will mention is that the access to forms and functions that allows a single individual to perform business transactions which are considered as conflicting, like create supplier and pay invoice. So now we need to look at how this can be made possible. Well, it's very simple. If you assign someone a single responsibility or multiple responsibilities that eventually has access to conflicting business functions, you have created an SoD violation there. Now, the next big question is how to control the access and avoid any violations. One of the biggest frustration that we always hear from the Oracle EBS customers is the lack of inbuilt features for access controls. Well, that is where we need to follow the best practice and use proper tools that can help us efficiently eliminate these access violations from happening. One of the best tools available in the market is the CS Comply, and we're going to see a demo of that particular tool. So I'm logged into my EBS environment for the demo. I'm into the CS Comply super user responsibility. I've created certain class, so we'll take a look at that. A class is the highest level of the rule architecture, which we can explain in any other webinars. So for example, here we have 3 different classes. If I look at the general rules class, there are 12 rules in that. I can drill down into that 12 rules and again further drill down to see what each rule has, which entities are defined in each rule. So for example, if I look at the G9 rule and what conflicts are there in that rule, we can again further drill down into the different functions that are defined. So here in this particular entity, we have 15 functions defined. I can further drill down and see which functions are actually defined into this. Now, to note here is in EBS, you may have different forms giving you access to the similar functionality. For example, the invoices, you can get into 3 or 4 different forms. You can get into the same screen. So this is where it shows how you can define the rules, your custom rules. The other important thing to note here is the different modes that we have. In today's demo, we are going to take a look at the prevent mode, which will actually stop you from providing or violating access. There's a detect mode, which will give you a warning, but it will not stop you. There is an approve mode, where somebody gets a notification to actually approve that access. So unless you have authorized that person to approve the access, even the sysadmin has given the access, it will not be available until the person who's authorized approves it. So this is where how you can control your SoD violations. Let's take an example. We'll try to create a user and see how we can control the SoD violations happening at the source. I will connect to the system administrator responsibility. We'll try to create a user. Any DBAs and system admins on this webinar will know what we are doing here. So I'm trying to create a demo user. We'll try to give him access to a responsibility that has a conflicting access. If you try to save this record, it'll pop up this window indicating that you are creating an access violation in your system. It will not actually allow you to save that record. So this is how exactly you can stop any violations from happening at the source itself. The other best practice is continuous monitoring of the system, looking at what your system has in terms of the number of conflicts, which responsibilities, which users are creating conflicts. So you have to continuously monitor that. Now in CaoSys, we have a tool or a very nice dashboard which can show you exactly the status of your system at any point of time. Let me go back to the CS Comply super user responsibility. I'm opening the dashboard. The dashboard gives you a very clear picture of the system. As you can see in the screen here, it shows 6.8% of the total users are having conflicts. 3% of the responsibilities in your system have conflicts. It also does a very nice trend analysis. You can see how your system was last month, last quarter. So you can go into the trend analysis tab. You can do further drill down or filtering, and you can only select quarterly trends or monthly trend. You can also go by dates. So nice different filtering options are available. The other critical thing is you can look at the users actually creating the violations. I want to find out in last month which particular user has created a violation. I can filter that user. I can right click and actually look at the conflicts. It shows here the actual responsibility that has created the conflict, the menu, the users. Other important thing is the exclusions. Often we see that business wants someone to have an access, even if it is considered as conflicting access. So you create your own mitigations and exclude those users from having those, still have the access. But you want to make sure that you have recorded somewhere why you are giving the conflicting access. The management has approved that access. You can actually create a report out of this and send it to the auditors, because they would be interested to see what the mitigations are and why a person has an access, even if it's a conflicting access. So there are a lot of other tabs that you could go into. We won't be able to take a look at all of them, but the dashboard is similar to if you are a DBA, you would know that Oracle Enterprise Manager gives a very nice dashboard or a single point of control where you can do a lot of activities. The dashboard is a similar single point of control for your audit and SoD issues. Other best practice is periodically reviewing your access and sending the reports to the authorized person so they can carry out the remediations on regular basis. CaoSys has a very nice feature and a module called CS Provisum, which will keep your system clean and give you options to periodically review the system and do the remediations. Now, we will not be able to go into the details of that because of the time limit, but we will have other webinars where we can go in much details on the periodic revision Provisum modules. Thank you. I hope the demo was helpful and provided you valuable information for the best practice.